Well, hi, friends. Good to see you again. I hope you're doing well. So, we've been talking about the different names and titles of Jesus that we find in the Bible. And today I am wearing a yarmulke or a kippah, which is what Jewish men or boys are to wear when they pray. Now, I have some family members who are Jewish, so this is what I wore when I went to the synagogue with them, this kippah. So, when I think of a kippah, I also think about the spiritual leaders of the Jewish faith. Now, in yesterday's video, we talked about high priests, which are a part of Jewish history. And today we're going to talk about another title that Jesus is called that is also Jewish. We talked about how he was a high priest, a Jewish term. Today we're going to talk about Jesus being called a rabbi. Now, why is Jesus called the rabbi? Well, a rabbi is a Jewish scholar or a teacher, especially one who studies or teaches Jewish law. And a rabbi could also be a person who's appointed as a religious Jewish leader. Today, in many cases, a rabbi would be similar to what a pastor is in the Christian faith tradition. Now, during the time the Bible was written, the word rabbi was used in a more informal sense than today. In Jesus' day, the title rabbi was used to address someone who had a reputation as a very wise teacher. And in the Bible, many people referred to Jesus as rabbi or teacher. And he was that. Jesus was a very good teacher or a rabbi. He had had a thorough education. He was very smart. Remember how he was teaching the men in the temple when he was like 8 or 12 years old? And he is recognized by many of his peers throughout the New Testament as a rabbi. Well, Jewish scribes and teachers often questioned Jesus, and they called him rabbi or teacher when they would do that. Luke chapter 20, verse 21 is an example of one of those times where they asked him a question. And it says they questioned him, and they said, "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right, and that you do not show partiality, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth." There are other passages in the New Testament in the Gospels that have these teachers asking him other hard questions. Some because they want to trap him, and others because they really do want to know the answer. And every situation or instance when they ask him a question, they start out by saying teacher or rabbi. Now, there was a man by the name of Nicodemus, and he was a very important Jewish leader. He was a Pharisee who recognized Jesus as a wise teacher, and he wanted to learn from him. John chapter 3, we read this: Nicodemus came to Jesus at night, and he said, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God. We know that God is with you, and if he weren't, you couldn't do the signs that you are doing." Well, Jesus and Nicodemus had this fascinating conversation, and it's found in John chapter 3, where we also find one of our favorite verses, and it's what Jesus said to Nicodemus that night. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." There were many people who listened to Jesus, and they often asked for advice, and they would call him teacher or rabbi. Luke 12 is another example. It says, someone in the crowd spoke to Jesus, saying, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family property with me." So they asked for different types of advice. Jesus was their rabbi or teacher. Now, do you remember any of the teachers that you had in school? Well, I do remember some teachers. I remember some teachers that I like. I also remember some teachers that I did not like. But I remember good teachers. And a good teacher is one who teaches well, whose lessons we remember. A teacher who had a very positive influence on us. Those are good teachers. Jesus is our teacher. He is our rabbi, and he has many lessons that we must learn. He has had a positive influence on the world and on us because as the Son of God, he speaks truth. So I hope that you continue to learn good lessons about Jesus and from Jesus because he is our teacher. He is a rabbi. You know, the psalmist says in Psalm 25, verse 4, "Lord, show me your ways and teach me how to follow you." Let's make sure we're good students as we learn from Jesus the teacher, Jesus the rabbi. I wish for you a day filled with learning and a day filled with peace.